Welcome back, everyone, to VALORANT Champions Seoul, as we just saw Heretics take Abyss from FPX, which was FPX's pick in a map that we have praised FPX for playing in a very fun and unique way. But today, in OT, it belonged to Heretics. And Paperton, I know that there is a lot of conversation about what are the win conditions here for FPX. This Abyss map was one of those for the series. If they wanted to have give themselves a bit of a leg up in this one, Abyss was something they needed to pull through.
Yeah, I totally agree. It really does feel like this was a must-win map for them, and it looked pretty good coming into half. 8-4, you're like, okay, yeah, they've got this. They started to really roll some rounds together there. They got a good read on Heretics' defender side and how they want to play it, but then Heretics come into their attacker side and they look like fire. They have great ideas with this Sova, some great timings with the recon, some great shock darts. Rian's just some phenomenal shooting as well.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, they were able to flip the script, and with a different comp that kind of caught a lot of us off guard for Team Heretics, it ended up getting them over the line.
Yeah, I mean, Woot in particular was absolutely excellent in this first map of the series. He had a couple moments where I think he wasn't quite the superstar he was at Shanghai playing in EMEA, but he's immediately back in global event form here, showing up and winning some crucial rounds, because quite honestly, I thought that was going to slip away for Team Heretics. They had a big advantage that they started to build in that second half. I think in particular brought on by some great mid-rounding from Boo. They were always getting themselves into these post-plant positions, and the post-plant protocols were really, really excellent there.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, you can see there as well, you'd mentioned briefly Paperton Rians, and I mean, guy popped off that game as well. So when you have that supporting cast, stepping up in such a capacity like that, it's going to make it very difficult for FPX to be able to walk away with a dub out of this one. But another kind of talking point here was Mini Boo on the Jet. Not something you see him do all that often, which is odd to say considering, he's a duelist, but he's been playing so much Neon lately. But you definitely saw him kind of just get neutralized a few of those rounds. Didn't really feel like he had much of the impact, which goes to show why this Heretics team is such a, dynamic roster, because anyone can step up and pop off for this team.
For sure. I was a little bit surprised by the roster change that the comp change we saw coming out from this team. I thought that the Raze especially was really strong. I kind of got bringing in the Sova instead of the Breach there, having that information, some of the ideas they had around the shock darts, especially in their post plant, I thought were really solid. But again, the Jet from Minibu just does not look as comfortable as his other roles, and I think it did show in that game. But luckily, this is a team with a lot of depth in players that can step up in the late rounds to keep them in these games, and they don't just have to rely on one guy to be that superstar. Yeah,
no, couldn't agree more with that one there. But of course, it's time for our HyperX Reflex moment. We're gonna show you a little ace. You know which one. Round 16 from Ion. This is gonna be, of course, I mean, just that first pop there, and the wall goes down, and it's like just an aim lab routine.
And it's all Guardian too.
Yeah, it really
unreal.
Is. Yeah, absolutely awesome stuff there. Unfortunately, FPX weren't able to pull through, but it took, Heretics squad climbing their way back and then pulling it out in OT. Tough one for sure for FPX to lose.
They really had to claw back for sure to Heretics. I mean, it felt like to me all of a sudden I was like, okay, you've got to read now here on how some of these Astra maneuvers are going to occur, what the Jet's trying to do, where the lurks are going to be coming from Benji Fishy. Those were actually really well accounted for by FPX. However, when it came to some of their decision-making and retakes and things like that, they just weren't quite up to snuff. They weren't quite at the same level. Heretics do a great job setting up the post plant. The Astra is really annoying as well. We saw that come into play a couple times. So all those things kind of put together just made it really hard for FPX to come away with some wins on their defender side.
Yeah, I felt like on the defensive side, a lot of these rounds, FPX site anchors were dying way too early into things, and then when FPX was trying to play the flood retakes, it ended up being more of kind of like a stumble, one player at a time, back into the site. Or when they did go for the set retakes, the post plants were just too strong. I mean, this is the new Pearl, the new cringe post plant map. We saw it in that second half, and quite frankly, your defensive side cannot be letting that spike come down every single time and play into the set retakes, especially when you're playing up against a team like Team Heretics. And now, I think this kind of booms the chances for FPX in this series. They looked great on Abyss in China. I think it was their best map regionally, and now they're going into a strength for Team Heretics, and this series gets really scary if you're rooting for an FPX upset.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, Bind's been great for Heretics, and we knew that this FPX needed this Abyss. It would put them in such a better position. So now they're going to have to do what Heretics did to them on map 1 and try and claw their way back into this series overall. But let's go ahead and hear from the coach of FPX, see what he has to say going into map 2.
Hey guys, we have Nathan D here from FPX and we have Luna to help out with some translation. That was a very exciting map on Abyss. We're just curious, you guys were able to bring it to an overtime, but why weren't you able to close it out? Can you enlighten us as to what the struggles the players were going through?
其实刚刚是非常激烈的图一的比赛嘛，你们能够成功的拖入到加10，但是并没有成功能够拿下，能不能告诉我们是什么阻碍了你们的脚步呢？
我们下半场的防守可能一些补枪细节没有做好，我们补枪没有做好，加上我们的防 rush 的一些细节没有做好，就导致了我们下半场根本守不住他们。
So at the second half, we are on defense. We did terribly on trade, and we didn't like to defend it well. So that might be explained what happened on the second half.
Well, there's still one map left, so let's see if FPX can manage to make a comeback.
And it seems like FPX identifying those issues. I mean, of course, a tough one for sure, but now they got to reset themselves, get ready for this bind. It's going to be a tall task without a doubt, considering how good Heretics are on this. And I mean, quite frankly, Paper Thin, if you're FPX in this situation, do you go for a bit more of this wackiness? Do you try and be a bit more off the cuff, if you will? Or, well, I mean, what do you do in this case, right? How do you catch this Heretics team off guard? How do you make them uncomfortable going into map 2?
For me, I think I'd like to see a different comp than what FPX normally runs on Bind. They normally run the Jet Sova, almost exactly the same comp that we just saw from Heretics, actually, except they use a Brim as their smoke. So I'd like to see something different. Raze, yes, I think is borderline necessary on Bind. Yeah. So I know, and that's what's weird to me, is Life is really good at Raze. He's actually got better stats in Stage 2 on Raze than he does on Jet, but they've been leaning into Jet.
Whoa!
That is very new.
Oh
okay.
my God, what?
What the hell?
I mean, there's a reason people left the Jet in 2021. I don't know where this comp has come from, though. Whoa. There are some interesting ideas to look out for. First thing I'm seeing, watch how Life and Ion are going to combo their utility. The audio denial from that Fade and the Haunts combined with the flashes from the Yoru can give a lot of different ideas to set Life up for success. But that Chamber, I think, is the big question mark. Also, we're not playing a Brim, we're playing Omen. This is weird. The one-ways, though, are cool with the Omen. We've seen teams like EG experiment with ideas like that.
Yeah.
There's so much to
But I think, also, too, I think about their attack. They have barely any post-plant stall or nothing.
Yeah.
They just got the Viper. And
One
that's
Viper molly.
Yeah, good luck, buddy.
They're going to have to fight. They're just going to have to scrap. That's all this is.
But
this
that's
is
what
a scrap.
they want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know what? That is a good call. It seems like FPX wants to get down and dirty in the mud. Speaking of two guys who like to get down and dirty in the mud, let's go ahead and send it over to your casters. Here's Mitch and Tom. Go ahead, tell everyone how you like the mud.
Only with you, GB. Only with you. But yeah, I think this is one of those things. A wise man once said that this is an FPS game and you just need to shoot people in the face. So who cares about post-plant utility? You don't need any of that. They've got a little bit, but ultimately they're going for the shoot them in the face. And I like it because do I think they would win with their previous composition? No, I think this would be a map that would go the way of Heretics. So pull something out of the bag, go for an aggressive composition, try and use that individual skill. Autumn is someone who, hey, he can pull out a Clove, drop 25 kills, so let's give him a chance over with the Chamber, and there you go, pick and out.
A nice start for that defensive side. A little bit of aggression going down on A as well. I'll try to get some control, push up behind them early on. Team Heretics, well, they could be funneled into just one angle, but there's always the potential to take that teleporter and bring it to the other direction. And looking for the flanks as well. It's Boo creeping his way back. He's turned at just the wrong moment, but corrects in time. Life down, and now Woot's clearing out that angle. They found the second and sent him straight into Boo and straight to the Shadow Realm. 4 versus 3 with FPX now looking to pick up the pieces, but the position from Berlin could be everything. He's got 2, and that's the spike with him.
This is such an absurd round. You'd think the defense are on the attack the way that they're pushing. And why are you going to expect the third player to be pushed up? The thing is, he's alone, hiding in his own smoke. And while he gives a little angle over to Woot, Woot's going to land the shot. And look where the remaining defenders now are. they're kind of ready for this.
I have the
Oh
spike.
yeah, they've rotated in just in
30
time.
seconds left.
Lysor stuck in the corner. Off bat, he's waiting for the walk through, and it's going to be Woot rounding to take the fight, but the shot is delivered straight to the cranium. Only Autumn. One shot left in the golden gun. It's his ghost that's creeping up close and finding them on the spams. The silencer lending a hand, and round the side he goes for the triple kill and the Red Bull clutch to kick off Bind.
Oh, I'd love to see an analytical breakdown of this round, because I think someone out there, maybe Steel, would have an aneurysm. It's one of the most aggressive pistols I've ever seen. You had two players making a push directly into mid. You had another that took complete showers control, which ended up winning them the round. And then you have this to start it off, where just the patience from Autumn, and he's the one that clutches out as well. If he goes down there, this round is lost. But that's what FPX need to do. They need to be disruptive, they need to be crazy. And they need to almost push Heretics off their game, because Heretics are very happy to sit back and be passive. Well, they're not going to be allowed to do that.
No, they're not. Of course, it's the Outlaw that picks up that opening. A strong weapon, by all accounts. And IYoung...
He couldn't have done that with a Marshall against unarmored players.
Nope, not possible, Tom.
No.
You know, he wouldn't have had the confidence, and that's what it's all about, just in case they bought shields.
The last round.
Yeah, you know, very shy player, I think it's fair to say. But no, for FPX...
Yeah, Australians are known for being very shy.
Yeah, right? Reserved, quiet. Yeah, that's...
just like MacMate. He's incredibly shy.
Quiet bloke. Yeah, you'd miss him in a room, a quiet room. Well, FPX, they found themselves a strong advantage to play with. Heretics have next to nothing to work with, and even the Ghost is doing work.
One enemy remaining.
This is just a chance for, well, I was going to say, IYoung to farm. But actually, Life stole that last kill away. A great start for FPX. Bear in mind, the last map was incredibly close. They lost both pistols. So they were in a rough spot pretty much from the beginning of both. Being able to get off to a great start here. That Outlaw carried through, a Judge for Berlin as well. But this is where the rifles come up. Heretics pretty much always win their attack. Even in matches they lose. When they lost to Vitality, they won their attack. 7-5, 7-3, 7-3, 7-3, 10-2. Like, they are very good at this side of the map. So if FPX can disrupt them enough, well, I'll be interested to see this comp on the attack, but even still, I think they're planning to try and disrupt this attack side. Wow. Rian's kind of clean today.
Not a bad start, that's for sure. And IYoung not going to last much longer either. They've avoided going into Berlin's awaiting arms, and now they've spotted him too.
He's going to let it hit him. He doesn't want to shoot the Judge.
No, and actually it might just work. Now they think there could be a rifle in there. Let's see what we've got. What's behind door number 1? It's a Judge, and now it's time to leave that guy alone. You can have all the space you want in lamps, but you got to get to the site to defuse, and that's where the difficulty spawns. Paranoia used to try to keep them back. Again, Rians can see clear as day. The orb going to block him out. Flash goes up top. Benji's around the back, inside the smoke, waiting for them to emerge, and he's caught himself a double, almost a third, but Rians gets ahead of him, and a clean round from those two. That is 2-1 with Heretics on the board, but that's the round we expect FPX to lose as well.
I also don't think you could expect Benji to be there because of the fact that they are actually throwing util into the smoke. So you're sat there going, okay, well, if they're going to put Molotovs on this, why would there be a dude just sat in there? And there was. But just clean openers. And again, we're going to highlight Miniboo because he had a rough first map, but if this guy comes online, I do think it's over. Because everybody else, we've seen them thriving. I think Rian's especially, Woot was great in the first map. This is where things get maybe even more exciting, as he's upgraded and now has an operator.
Yes, no shields, you'll notice. This is a glass cannon attempt to get aggressive early on, has the TP to fall back on. Getting a little greedy, going around the corners, and there's Boo waiting for him with the iPad out. Wasn't quite expecting that aggressive of a peek, and now the punish is being delivered.
Sorry, guys, I didn't expect him to swing all the way down mid without checking one side. Sorry, I wasn't aware of it. They're going to try and immediately pivot to the other side of the map, but look who's there again. Autumn playing this rotational operator, and he's got Life alongside him. A lot of support, and now 2 men down.
The dominoes have started to topple at this point for FPX. Everything is working out. Another pick as Rians comes out of the smoke, and the rest of the squad still sat up in hookah. Now they fall back, looking to take it the other direction, and perhaps they'll have a 2v2 on offer. You have some aggression.
Yeah, it's just where it is, though. This is a filthy crossfire. I think they're just going to save, though. This is just holding on to guns. Yeah, I was about to say, if they go all the way around, they're geniuses. But at this stage, the economy will be good enough if they hold on to these guns, make sure Boo gets another one in the next round. So it's going to be an immediate response from FPX. And as said, like what they're currently doing, so ridiculously disruptive. Like, again, you have to be wary wherever you go. The Autumn could have peeked mid, TP back, immediately rotated to the other side of the map and could be facing you there as well. And that's exactly what happened in this round. He becomes even just a distraction in the late game because you're focusing on that operator. And then do you think Life's going to hide? No, Life's going to swing. And well, Berlin is looking to even remove the guns, but eventually they will be allowed to save, and for Heretics, pretty important.
Yeah, based on what I've seen even just in this series, Tom, I don't think Life's going to hide. This guy is, he's unhinged to say the least, and I think you can say the same for Autumn at mid-push. You know, the idea makes sense. If there's a player on the left, they'll have to swing out wide. So it's a timing, it's a risk you're taking. But the fact that you have that TP, if things go wrong, they miss a shot, you're already out of there.
That's what this comp is. It's a risk. It is
a
bunch of risks. But that's the thing. As I said, I think if you try and play regular, to the book, standard Valorant, beating them on this map is incredibly difficult. Already, Thrash going to be utilized and straight through the TP, but they're met with Benji. 3 disrupted. And wow, swings and roundabouts. Sometimes the aggression works, sometimes you get triple sprayed down.
Yeah. The fact that these players turn so quickly, the door's open, and, well, they seem to close on the round, at least, with FPX having an operator, Lysor. I'm not sure that they're going to want to commit these weapons to it. You look at FPX, post-plant utility doesn't really exist, barring the Snakebite, but for Team Heretics, that's not quite the case. They've got their Snakebite, they've got their Molly, they've got Rien's, and I think they know the Mosh Pit was already used, but even the Flash to re-execute out for a fight. The Seize as well from Woot. It's not one that I'd expect a big commitment from, especially with now they've cleared the site. They've seen that it's most likely post-plant setups. These weapons may just be more valuable carried through for future rounds, although, I mean, Lysor is very aggressive. He wants to make it costly for Heretics and at least drop a few bodies. As he fails, Autumn's out.
Yeah, I think Autumn always had the plan, unless his teammate got a couple of kills to just fade away. Everything else they can repurchase. So it's not the end of the world. Heretics do well to weather the storm this time. And again, it's another round where contact is made towards Hookah. The response from FPX is to 3-man TP, which is a bit mental. And well, I saw all the assists come through, and I was like, how has Boo got 3 assists? That is a Stim Beacon triple assist.
Nice, very good kill.
It's not something you're going to see every single day. And while Benji does incredibly well in that scenario. Again, though, the only thing that would worry me for FPX, honestly, is if they start shying away. Because this comp, if you play passive, sucks.
Yeah, oh yeah, this is not a passive comp. And that's the problem. If things don't work out, that's often going to be what you do, is switch it up, change your pace. We saw that in the last round. Now Autumn being dropped is traded out for life. Got an aggressive out on B long, at least keeping a foothold for this site that isn't just deep. Yeah, I was kind of expecting him to fall back at this point, at least maintain the control. But this guy, I should have learned my lesson. I thought I did earlier. He always keeps going. He's going back out. No, he's not.
He's thinking about it. He's going to get revealed.
Okay, he's back.
He has his ult as well, though. So there's always a chance to double dip, especially with space being taken now. You know, yeah, every angle's being checked before they attempt anything. Aggressive control into the showers means that they don't really have to worry too much about the TP. It's a position that they've already been caught once with Berlin, but Ayung's now on spot. Lysor trying to just see if he can get any information, because at least then he'd be able to slow them down.
30 seconds left.
Well, the Seize hasn't quite caught in the flash on left, and it's even caught Life, I think. They want to try to back out, but Mollies are covering them. Orbital Strike comes in, sectioned off by Team Heretics, put in a box. Life at least able to find a wide. How is that correction landed? At least Benji falls. Life's work is not for nothing. In fact, it seems like the advantage will be converted into a round win for FPX. 4-2. And I honestly, watching Life play this game is just perplexing. I don't know how he's getting away with so much in these aggressive positions.
Again, it's something that we're looking at from a side where we can see everything. Just imagine what it's like from Heretic's point of view, where a guy just goes blasting straight through the smoke, taking insanely aggressive fights, and again, he's the reason they win the round. Like, he is fully
Literally.
the reason. Like, the re-aggression to start with, to put things back even after Autumn goes down, it's the second prong. Like, you're not expecting someone to go running out, but it's just this shot onto Boo, which I feel like it has been Boo just on the wrong end of a lot of that. And then Ayang actually catching someone off the back of his own utility as well. So 4-2. Defensive side starting to build a lead, and I like the fact that Heretics are taking a very early pause here.
The best part is when Ayung threw that reveal, there was probably the thought that if Life can just hold on a second, it'll help him get a kill, and instead he just runs through the smoke and takes 2 blind. So, you know, when you've got a player like that, I mean, you know, you got to let him off the leash, and that's certainly what they're doing on FPX. Remember, one of the main factors of success for this side so far has been Autumn, able to find those early picks. This round started out with Heretics picking him, taking him down, but the response was immediate from Life on B long. He got aggressive, they didn't punish that, and then they lived to regret it.
Yeah, I think, again, a lot of what Heretics, similarly in the last map, like, they're going to have prepped for Abyss because they knew what was coming. They knew that it was likely to be picked by FPX. They knew that they play this aggressive game. If they prep for this, they have somehow snuck into their opponent's scrims, because I don't think there's a way you could have seen this coming. And that's why I think taking an early pause, giving Neilzinho an opportunity to sort of go, okay, they're trying to push everything. I thought for the most part they were going to try and double up, but I guess the idea is maybe for Miniboo just to try and sell some info. Yeah, and he's not looking to fight anything. He knows there's going to be aggressive plays.
Remember, we had it in the last round as well, but no chance to use it in the chaos. Miniboo's got the showstopper ready to work with, but Autumn picked off in the last round. He'll take 2 first bloods in this one to make up for it. That is a devastating start. And now that showstopper, that's just an afterthought. Walking through the Viper utility. Oh, the timing. The judge still comes back for 1. And, well, a 5 versus 1 emerges. Good luck and condolences for the round to Benji Fishy.
Well, it's going to have to be an insane 1v5. They know exactly where he is. Pop flashes and, well, we talk about how aggressive this team can be, but both players falling back. They want to try and group back up with Autumn, and he's not falling back. But honestly, with what he's done in this round so far, I can't really blame him. A collapse to start off the round. The aggression that this man is pulling out, well, I'd say it's about 90-odd% successful.
Yep, and the worst part about it is you're seeing him just with global control. At the start of the round, you might as well roll a dice to figure out where the hell he's going to be. Peeking out, whether it's in hookah, whether it's on long. Now we're probably going to see B long. I mean, there's nowhere that you can feel safe, and they did the best thing they could, double swing in the angle. I think at this point, Heretics have got to just, if you're going to peek, Dizzy has to go round first. Otherwise, you're dead. Prowler, something has to reveal that, or you're risking 2 players dying to 1 bullet.
That's the thing. They do have the utility to be able to clear out an operator. Like, you've got yourself a Fade and a Gecko. And you've got a Boombot. Like, I think this round they did, or the last round, sorry, they put the Boombot through to try and catch him pushing B mid. But it didn't matter. He wasn't there. And then they weren't prepared to try and fight him over on that A site. Miniboo still has his ultimate for this round, but you look at what's on offer. I don't know if they'll want to use it, especially with where Berlin is again. You talk about that operator. I think the judge is just as scary.
Especially in Berlin's hands with what we saw previously, and when you've got the Viper util decaying you down. Here he is with a chance, but Woot's the one to shut him out. Now an opportunity for Heretics, even with the weaker weapons, if they can keep these trades up, and they're doing exactly that. 3 versus 2, and some weapons to be recovered with a plant coming in now. And Wingman online for the late round. Autumn's on the flank, the long way around with Lysor inside that smoke in spawn. It's going to be a tough split. They have to win their individual fights.
Is he going to get revealed? I don't think he was. The Wingman didn't quite reach. Boo has gone looking, but hasn't seen anything back towards long. If he goes to swing this again, he's going to be met with either a headhunter or an operator. In fact, he might not even check. It's going to be a free kill, but they've already managed to clear out Lysor. A round looking all but over, as him getting into some of these closer range positions is going to be impossible, and Rian's even there to close it out once again. A low purchase and a victory alongside it for Heretics, as they will get their third onto the board.
Yeah, a good start from Wood as well. The fact that he picks off Berlin before the damage can be done, I think he would have had a relatively easy time finding the first, and then, well, you're running through a Viper or close range against a Judge. It's not going to be a very pretty scenario, but the reveal up top was timed perfectly to at least land them that opening. From there, the round cascades with the trades. FPX, though, it's little more than a bump in the road. 4 ultimates online, rifles still there with credits for the next. They have a chance to continue this fight.
Actually have a 3-man setup ready and waiting, immediately getting rid of the Thrash, and life just keeps going. 2 kills already. Boo tagged up a bit, but he's lost some health himself. Not going to overface this. I feel like they were so ready for them to try and use the Thrash. They literally put a firing squad to deny it and then took 2 kills.
Well, that's it. As soon as the Thrash is used, you know they're all going to be funneling through that choke point. But life, time and time again, just surprising us with the individual skill. Berlin dropped in life low, but the trade is quick from Young. It's been so clean on these ranged fights, with Heretics sent back the other direction, moving towards bathroom 2 versus 4. And again,
look at the push-up as well. Like, they don't have to worry about B just because of where Autumn is. Like, he's so far up at this stage that unless they're going to go through the spawn, and even still, if they don't step or hear them, Young perfectly placed, but loses the battle. Still, though, it allows 2 players to be here, but you have to bear in mind how low life currently is.
Autumn spot allowed him to keep B long control now, though he's abandoned that trap to move for the flank. Lysor does well, landing that one, but Benji's got some fight left in him. 50 HP, and the shot through the box.
I think he saw his leg.
Saw the leg.
He must have seen
it
his
wasn't
leg.
A game of battleships, no. He had a radar this time. 6-3, though. FPX find the round in extraordinary fashion.
Yeah, it always seems to come down to these late round clutch scenarios, but hey, you put Autumn in those positions and he's going to win it. I think good work as well from Benji to at least make this one look competitive, because I feel like all the way through they had so much space, so much of the read on that defensive side, but yeah, from Benji's POV, it looked crazy. From his POV, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
I'd be more surprised if he missed.
I'd be surprised if he misses any of his shots from what I've seen so far. Even the collapse landing. Autumn's been very impressive. This chamber's working out. The disruptive play has put Heretics on the back foot a number of times. This time, Lurk sent out by Benji towards A. Pressure applied on B. They'll claim the orb and look for some space. Weaker weapons in part. Woot on a classic. Sheriff's in play for Boo and Benji. It's the rifles on Mini Boo and Rien's that have to do the heavy lifting, and instead... Oh, okay. There's one missed shot. It's remarkable. Now, if anyone peeks him here, I'm not sure they'll be quite as lucky.
It is got to be a little bit more careful. No get out of jail free card this time. I think he was a bit lucky that the player he faced off against was the player that only had a classic. Otherwise, that could have got dangerous. Again, still no escape, and while he is going to be connected on by every single PC utility, Miniboo has managed to catch one, but there is an immediate swing and counter. It was an ult or 2 invested by the side of Heretics, but you wouldn't think it.
No, you really wouldn't. I mean, the decay that came in, though, from, I believe it was Young dropping the Nightfall.
Yeah.
Putting them in a position where everyone was low up.
It was both.
Yeah, but Miniboo and Co were down to like 1 HP, and you saw everyone on the side of FPX just spraying at the bodies here. Nice and easy. It was 1 bullet to take him down, 1 for the player in the smoke, and then a headshot for Woot. Didn't quite matter either way. 7-3. A big lead now in the books for FPX, and the half isn't over yet.
As said, that every single time we've seen them play, even going back to G2 at Masters, they won their attack. They are not winning their attack, so they've already broken what has been a running streak for the side of Heretics. Finally, they managed to shut out Autumn, but he's not alone. There are more players there, one lurking within the poison orb, but it's only going to be the 1-for-1. Berlin, he's revealed his position as well. And although there is a player looking to come in from behind, Heretics this time are going to get the afterplant with an advantage.
Ooh, style points for that one. Nice clear with the trade potential. Yeah, Heretics advantage to play with. Got it locked in. But last time that we saw Autumn picked off, it was Life to step up for a massive round. We'll see if it's going to be the same here. The flash to support the initial push through. He's gone around the long way, fighting it for control over Lamps, and he's found it. At least to begin, things are going well. No flashes left, though. Leaves the dry peaks, and Berlin with a 1 versus 2 after his initial. Already starting the defuse, looking to get it half, but Molly comes in. Smoke soon to fade as well. He's peeking out on the side of it, but they know he's not defusing. And there's no need for them to swing, although Rienz obliges eventually. There's another round on the board for the attacking side. No matter what, they won't be keeping their streak of winning their attack, but there's at least a chance to make it close.
Yeah, and there are definitely arguments that like running a chamber is going to be a lot easier on that defense. We'll see how it's utilized by Autumn in the next half, but I do think it's important for Heretics to get this final round, otherwise a pistol could put them in a pretty awkward spot going into the next half. I really like the post plants though from Heretics. Once they're able to get there, they've looked really good. Like they're able to have the really late mollies coming in from Boo, just happy to sit back where everybody else is disruptive. The problem though has been getting there. And well, they have a showstopper and then a Viper's Pit, so if they do get there, I think it could be ropes for FPX.
Yeah, it'll be very tough to get back into a site like that with a pit down, and it might be tough to keep them out with the showstopper. Boo bypass that utility, and the C's has actually caught Young. He could be in a lot of trouble here with Mini Boo going up and over. The shot doesn't land from the showstopper, nor does it from the rifle. Young still kicking on the site, moving back to clear Boo, who luckily wins the fight. Some breath still for Team Heretics, and the flash in. Life is going for another big play, but only the one to be found.
That keeps things even. Plant yet to happen, so you can see the doubt. Autumn's actually going to go back towards the B site. Still has his trap available, so he knows that they haven't made it towards Hookah just yet. And actually, just this patience from the side of Heretics has at least made the defense slightly weaker.
It's thinned out the numbers for sure, but Berlin's not looking weak. What a shot with Boo down. The spike retrieved. Rienz is going to try to get this one planted. No wingman, though. He has to do it himself. And the TP out. Beautiful from Berlin. Even as the ultimate to use just to cause that little bit of paranoia for Rienz. And in fact, the ult is used straight towards the spawn. So now Rienz has no idea where this opponent could be. And Autumn's a mystery as well. Does manage to get the plant down in the chaos, though. Not deterred, but shot in the head from up in heaven. Berlin caught him jumping over the box. That's 8 rounds locked in at halftime for FPX.
Slow it down. I want to see that shot again. That was just disgusting from Berlin. A fantastic round from him individually and a fantastic half from FPX. As said, even if like when Vitality were able to beat Heretics on this map, it came down to a poorer defense for the side of Heretics. They were not able to beat them on their attack. Well, that's exactly what FPX have done. They've managed to quell them, and well, thank you for the replay. Absolutely gorgeous stuff.
Well, Tom,
okay, good.
That's our first half, 8-4 for FPX. Now, it's time to give them a little break between the half. We're about to jump off, but we'll be back with half number 2 very soon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Girls out there, 그냥 달라 pretty cheeks like this. I'ma take her one, between your top 5. 따뜻하게 바빠, I stole it. 유행은 내일 바뀌어, 저러진 않아. 신발은 you take butter white, 이미 누구와 imitation. You always better go back up. Like a Balenciaga got that. Fake up, pick up, don't like that.
And we're back 8-4 when we left you. Team Heretics struggling on the attack side, which is a rare sight for us. But they're one map up. All they've got to do is recover this on the defense, Tom. But this composition from FPX, yes, we'll talk about the chamber defensively and how strong it can be. We saw it, right? Autumn's opening picks from posting up and TPing out. It will be harder to make that work here on the attack.
For sure, but I think that's where you're now going to look to players like Life to sort of, well, I don't want to say pick up the slack like he was performing badly. He was very, very good at the first. But that's where you kind of look to him. And as I said, for Heretics, this probably has been their weaker of the two sides. So it's also going to be their own fundamentals. Can they turn this back? I think with both Woot and Miniboo being a little bit quieter, looking for a bit more from Rians after his first map performance, a pistol definitely wouldn't go amiss.
Yeah, you know, it's not even that they're being quiet, it's that their opponents are being so loud. They're just drowning them out. Like, so many of these fights, they just can't get anything done in because, to be honest, it's tough to play against FPX. From what I'm seeing here, this is just a chaotic squad that will put you on the back foot. They're doing something you're not used to. And while those adjustments have to be made on the fly, Heretics, 4 rounds on the board. This pistol carries a fair bit of weight for them. If it goes to FPX, they're going to struggle to get back into this half, and we may be going all the way to Lotus.
Well, yeah, if you're talking about unorthodox playstyles, Lotus with a triple controller is something that maybe, I guess Heretics, I think, have played it before, so they might be prepared for it, but that doesn't make it any easier. Here we go, though. Execution into the site. A couple of players ready and waiting. It looks like there's going to be an attempt from Woot to maybe try and deny the plant. He's around the edge, but unfortunately the Haunt doesn't find anything.
Are they thinking about, yeah, they're TPing, they're going back. Autumn was left lurking outside B, heard the rotations. There's one player up close, Benji, but he's tagged down to 24. A flash on backside could get him out of dodge, but Berlin's already on him. The push from Rienz, it was at least covered for a moment by the Viper wall, but now he's all alone, doing the damage, and at least dropping a few, giving Woot a chance. Lysor shuts him down, and Boo has somehow allowed Life to thread the needle. Unbeknownst to him, Boo's right behind him. This is a pantomime with a free kill, although it came a little close. Just the 1v1 left with Lysor's position unknown.
Oh, he's right above as well. Just looking for that fight for the fourth. A fantastic pistol round from him, and as said, it would have been a welcome gift for the side of Heretics to be able to take that over the line. Again, though, you just see these rounds where they go for these late rotations. I love the thought process of FPX. Is like, you think you know what we're doing. You think after we shoot your Haunt deep within the site, we throw our utility in, you think that you're in our heads, and in fact, the quick switch up, Benji left in no man's land, and sure, again, Rienz, he did what he could. It was bullets that held him back. It's not enough.
No, it wasn't. And that pistol going the other way now for Heretics is tough. They're 9-4 down on this map, one that we hailed as somewhere they should be able to take it across the line. We said that FPX need to win the first map because surely they can't take it in the last two, but here we are. Rienz dropped to start this one off, and it's only pistols for Heretics. No big investment. They're saving their cash for the next, but a 10-4 lead. If that's where we end up with potential economic benefits there for the attackers as well, this will be a very tough position to climb back from. And the way they're pushing and pulling so far, pistol was fantastic, and look what they've done here. Fake on A, move back to B, and then rotate back to the A side. It's wide open.
As you said, though, like looking at this map on paper, like this was a map that, okay, they lost the last time, 14-12 in overtime to Vitality, a team that needed to win to qualify for Champions, whereas Heretics were basically already qualified because of the points that they have. So, and we were talking about burnout and all these excuses. We had so many different things when it came to Heretics as to why they didn't win that match. Maybe, in many cases, not giving Vitality the credit they deserve. Even still, that was a 14-12 loss. Right now, FPX, you remove all of those excuses from Heretics. They got a bit of a break. Okay, I'm not going to pretend like it's a massive one, but the same break that FPX got. And right now, on Bind, they are putting themselves into a considerable lead. 10-4, guaranteed. There's nothing that can be done in this round. The only thing will be whether or not there's any orbs or any cost. And of course, for Ion, he only has a pistol. Even going down isn't that much of a problem. He wants the extra orbs to try and get closer to his ult. Benji will take exactly the same thing, and the rest of the team, the ones with weaponry, are just going to fade out of there. And everyone else dying to the spike.
10-4. The scoreline we expected. A strong position from FPX with so many weapons saved over. And for Team Heretics, this needs to be a flawless climb.
The score we expected after 9-4.
Well, yeah, not at the start. I'm casting it back to...
Well, what script are you reading
you know,
from?
when I saw Bind, Tom, remember I said to you backstage, 10-4 FPX, I can see it happening. I don't know anything that's going to happen after that, but 10-4, I'm certain. Now, for FPX, yeah, they're expected to win that last round. Is that better?
Okay, yeah.
And then they've got their economy built up as a result of these weapons being saved. Sure, there's some weaknesses. You've got a Guardian, which has not been a weakness if it's in Young's hands, and then Berlin on a Spectre. But for the most part, they're able to go blow for blow with Heretics in this round. And if Heretics don't find this, well, they're going to have to start drafting up that anti-triple controller setup.
Yeah, I hope they already had it drafted, because I think they played them on it before.
Or we'll have questions about Neil Zinho's nomination.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, well deserved. His coach in EMEA has been fantastic throughout the year, but it's safe to say that this matchup, even last time they played, as I said, they won 17-15 to beat this squad. Ended up making a run to the final and played the other team who beat FPX. I think they've been, as I said, clinically underrated. And once again, showing why this is a team to fear in the group of death. For now, though, 35 seconds coming up on the clock. Pressure going to be put on to Benji, but he has support, or had support. Now it's all on him, but the flashes are just leaving him in a position to fight. Rians is doing an amazing job on the backside again.
And after the first kills as well, Snakebite went down. Berlin swings in, thinking his teammates are with them, but they've got to wait just a little moment. 10-5, locked in that round, an essential victory for the side of Heretics. Like I said, I mean, I don't find that to be a massively weak round for FPX. They certainly still had a lot of weapons to work with, a lot of punch to pack. But this next round, I think, will be a little bit different. I'm seeing Autumn again going for the glass cannon, and that was most certainly the turning point of the last half. He was getting so much value out of that operator.
But do you agree with it on the attack?
That's the thing. It's so much more difficult. In fact, if you look at every opening duel he had, it was reliant on him putting down his trap, him posting on an angle they couldn't be on just yet, or maybe just peeking out, and then just waiting. And they have to push you because they're the attackers. They have to attack. Now, that's not quite the same. And catching Heretics out will be a big difficulty, I think.
I think as well, when you're up against a composition that is double initiator, double smokes, like, you don't really need to be pushing. You don't need to be taking mass amounts of aggressive control that hasn't already been cleared by some sort of piece of utility. So I think, yeah, sure, maybe Heretics make this decision to go, okay, they've taken a pause, let's try and take some space, let's try and battle with them a little bit. But when you have yourself all of that utility, all the finances behind you and Thrash, if you're doing that without any utility behind it, then you deserve to get killed by Autumn.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they can also see the credits, and at this point, you know that there's a chance Autumn does that same
after the last
shenanigans. Yeah. The last time you looked and went, nah, he probably won't go for the op. He couldn't get shields. And then collateral. Well, 10-5 we go. FPX still up well above their opponents. Miniboo getting confident, getting aggressive, and getting shut down early on. FPX have found an easy opening duel. You talked about no need to push, Tom. Well, it looks like Heretics missed the memo.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea. Like, the supportive utility was there, but it's definitely put them in an awkward spot. As I said, after a pause, a lot of teams will take a gamble, but when you're 10-5 down, that gamble hasn't paid off, and it's not getting any better.
With Rian's down as well, big clutch player for the squad. A lot of utility that's going to help you to get back into a site. There's not a lot to hope for, except Woot finding some semblance of hope with a quick pick. Clearing out the space towards Bath, finding one player. He knows that's probably an isolated duel, one he's happy to take.
Okay.
And even with the decay, with the vulnerability, he is still able to win that duel. We're back to a 3v3. It's winnable for Heretics, and the flank hasn't yet been spotted from Benji Fishy.
Boo, trying to get something. The steps will have been heard. And the TP has been removed, but they're still wary of where life is going. In fact, he's going all the way around the back. He's in their spawn. Autumn picks off Benji, this now becomes so much more awkward because that player up above is going to leave them in disarray, but Woot is still going, still thriving, still trying to find anything that he can with Autumn, just buying as much time as possible, just baiting them as much as he can, and they're only just getting onto that defuse. He needs to try and find the shot. Is there going to be time for it? Is the question. There will be.
Wow. Heretics have done one hell of a job getting back into that one. I think Autumn going out with the classic, he thought he could buy a little bit of time, but they were swinging wide looking for the fight. This squad started it out with confidence, getting aggressive, and it didn't work out, but the recovery is there. Now they're sat with rifles, they're sat with Thrash, and this puts FPX in a really rough spot with barely anything to work with. And Woot's the man that pulls them out of this abyss that they were in. The fact that they're not only able to find the first, but he goes back to back, takes a fight inside a snake bite against a player who knows he's there, and still wins it.
I think also just the confidence he had in Boo, because if he lets go, this becomes a much closer round. Like, you hear a second tap and life doesn't have to swing, but it forced him into a position where eventually there was a lot of time left on that clock. This time, though, with Heretic slowly climbing, it's only going to be pistols. Sure, you got that headhunter available, and they're going to clear control to collect up the orbs. They're putting it onto life, which is interesting because he is not even remotely close to his ultimate.
Time to jump.
I guess you're wanting to farm it up early. Strange, I guess. You can see like a nightfall for next round, something like that, especially with the death. But, well, maybe they just know that Young's got a weapon that he can tap someone in the head with. He's probably going to get his ult off of it. Fair play. Got to have faith in your teammates. For Heretics, there are a few risks here playing up close, but there's always a second player doubled up on it. Miniboo and Woot as an example, but Woot's dropped right off rip. Miniboo, though, able to get it done. This is what we're talking about, having that second man to provide that cover, to trade it out. They don't want to lose too many more players. Keeping the economy healthy early on is a big factor, and Spike's gone the other direction. Pressure's on for Benji.
Yeah, the problem is they haven't got as far forward as they probably would have liked. He's going to wait, almost play the bait, just hold on while they fight his teammates. It's all too easy for Benji. Now for Lysor, if anything, he just needs to make sure he dies. Not wanting to just hold on to a pistol for the next round. He's going to go swinging. Already has the ult, so it's not even going to be for the orbs in the end. Heretics have brought this back into contention. 10-7. Not too far away now, and this is where you kind of expect for FPX to have more of a response.
And again, ult dedication. You could have a nightfall for FPX right now, but I mean, a relatively big factor, honestly, in a round like this. 10-7, economy's on the line. Autumn's going in for another glass cannon. They're so willing to play without those shields. I mean, they rarely get to fire a bullet back at them, so I suppose it doesn't really matter. But 3 rounds in the difference. Heretics on the road to recovery. And the defensive side, well, a little bit of aggression to go down. Miniboo sends through the boom bot. It finds nothing. And on the back of it, I expected aggression. If it was life, you'd see aggression, but they backed off.
Benji will be revealed, but he has support. And it's actually the spam through the orb that ends up taking down life. That's not the man you wanted to lose early on in this round. Because as said, like, you look at the other side, what have you now got? You've lost your Star Duelist. You have a double controller, single initiator, and a chamber. Like, this is not a space-taking composition if you lose the Yoru in the early stages of the round.
And not just that, for the round that's in it, economy on the line. Heretics about to build up a massive lead in terms of eco if they can avoid losing too many. This is a round that FPX don't want to be pulling any punches, and losing one of their big entries is definitely going to hurt them. Benji not going for the orb. Could have been Viper's Pit online, but he knows that risk not worth it at all. Thrash sent in, and Berlin's already pushed way too far forward. Perfect timing from Rienz on the ultimate. The snake bite keeping them back, and as they attempt to fade through the orb, Rienz gets another blind through the smoke. The spike recovered by Lysor, soon to be gifted to Heretics by the looks of things, but the op comes in, the shot fired, lands nothing, and now they'll be much more cautious. In fact, the molly gets him. Oh, it's a disaster. 30 HP for Lysor. He's at least got 2, but 8 seconds left. Spike to be planted, players to be dropped, and even saving is impossible. Miniboo's got him sectioned in.
God, a gorgeous interplay. That was the combination of the two players of Rienz and Benji. Like, just whether the orb was going up to just keep everybody low as they tried to run in. They also had the snake bite, the cover that was there when the ultimate was being used to make sure that they couldn't properly close him down. Like, it was just perfect from these two. And okay, that was the only risk, was when Berlin got through, but Rians was just about quick enough. And you can see, just combining their utility, working as a team. And again, I said Rians had been a little bit quieter in that first half. He is now 16 and 12. He is climbing up the board and putting them just 2 rounds away after what was looking commanding. Like, this was, again, I think it was both pistols going the way of FPX this time. Again, a very good first half where they ended with a pretty hefty lead, getting that second pistol over the line. And now they've lost 4 rounds in a row. And I think we're starting to see the holes in where this comp is just not as good on the attack.
That's it. They really need to find a solution there, and I'm not sure that's an easy solution to find. Like, 4 rounds in a row, it's not the end of the world. We've seen so many teams recover, and a lot of the times that's going to be necessary. You lose the 4 as you're learning. What are your opponents doing? How can you adapt to it? What are the gaps in your attack? But for FPX, those gaps are hard to plug with limited utility. I need to see Life not going down early round, and I'm not sure I can blame him for it.
You need to see Autumn go for a glass cannon rifle? It's because he's getting tour de force if he gets 1 orb, but it's definitely it's a risk that if he just dies, okay, he sold it. I thought he was. I kind of.
You got the golden gun, man. You go Headhunter alongside Shields and then go for the orb. Well, then you get 1 kill. You've got a big gun, a big sniper. Makes a bit more sense.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted him to do it.
I didn't, so I'm quite happy with where we've ended up here.
I'm rolling with the Chaos. Chaos is where they've succeeded. Chaos is where they will win. Now they've got a few ults for this one. Young, Guardian. He's going to be better in this round.
Oh, I actually think this is over then for Heretics, to be honest. I don't care about Autumn's ultimate. It's Young's Guardian. 3 headshots is a minimum. He might get 4. We'll see.
Yeah, the only thing that will stop him is if it's through a wall.
Yes.
Then he'll only take down maybe 1 player.
If Lysor uses a Viper's Pit while Young has a Guardian, he's trolling. Now, you need to give him the long-range angles. Let him just headshot. But no, for real, at this point, Heretics, A-site, feeling a bit of pressure. They're just going to fall back. They're going to concede the control. That could get Pit down for FPX and give them a real chance to fight for this round.
Young spamming. Whoop has somehow managed to dodge every single bullet. There goes that Viper's Pit, but with an immediate response. Both Nightfalls thrown in. Everything being placed into this round by both teams, but they have been able to buy quite a bit of time. Miniboo playing a game with Chicken. Berlin on the other side, and while Miniboo comes out on top, they now have to deal with this man. He goes for a little bit more. They've also lost the Pit. This is a bigger problem now. Life has at least been able to recover 1, but it's left onto Young, and there's a counter Pit in play. He has to make a play into it, and they're watching for this. They're ready for this, but he managed to bypass them. It didn't matter in the end. Benji was waiting, holding that line. And now the difference down to just 1. And as I said, Mitch, they committed quite a lot into that round.
Well, yeah, they committed a hell of a lot. Getting themselves in, counter Nightfall, Pit, that then got counter-pitted as well. I mean, this was big investment from FPX. And then we look at this round as well. The fact that their economy was put in. The next round, we'll see light shields and rifles for them as well. How Miniboo gets the second, I don't know. And a quick trade from Riens drops the Pit. At that point, the round is lost. I think that's the defining fight. And as well as that, Miniboo was like 20 HP, pushing through lamps for the first kill he got. Just crouched waiting. A ballsy play. And certainly fair to say that, you know, we started this out by talking about his confidence levels. I don't think that's an issue right now. He seems to have found his groove.
He's getting back into it at least. And as I said, that was always going to be dangerous. A streak of rounds, and this would be both maps now, where the FPX have found themselves in pretty hefty advantages, and they are starting to slip in a similar way. It will be a crushing way to go into that lower bracket, and of course have to face off against Sentinels. I don't think there'll be many teams that will have had to be eliminated from 2 tournaments only playing against Masters finalists. That would be the brutal way to go out. Life, though. Here is that ult, something they were looking for, but there are multiple players ready and waiting. The utility is so good, though. It's fantastic to support him.
And Young with another. Yeah, Riens had thrown his own bit of util out, the Dizzy to try to get space, but he's denied it. Boo and Woot left with a tough decision. Do they go for this? They've got plenty of cash, so I see no reason why not, but it'll be hard to find it. Okay, player in the corner, but Autumn's clean on the first shot, and the flash leaves Boo in the corner. Autumn can post up, and that's where he's found most of his success in this series. 11-9 now for FPX. They found a little bit of a recovery. This could have been disastrous as well with their credits down to the last, but, well, they're back on the board.
Yeah, you can see why they want that dimensional drift so bad. Because when Life has that, he uses it to basically pinpoint where the paranoia needs to go, has his own pop flash to leave the players at the back of the site completely blind, and then sticks the landing with it. And that's, there's so much interplay that they can have around that ultimate. The look now will be, what do they do when it's not there? And I actually think that, okay, sure, for Heretics, I understand where there's a pause. You won 5 rounds in a row, you finally lose one. You're 2 away from this map slipping away. But I actually think FPX would have been really happy to have a pause here as well. Because you're now going to sit there and go, okay, we use the ultimates that we knew would work. We were literally farming orbs when there was 1 orb on Life, and I don't know how many, it was 6 or 7 on a teammate.
Yeah.
And now, well, we don't have that. What are we going to do instead? Sure, we got Tour de Force. We got Berlin from the shadows, which I'll be honest, on Berlin I actually think could be impactful. He's a bit crazy sometimes. And well, Heretics are more looking just to get back into the swing of things as they were over the last few rounds, because the 5-round streak is pretty clean. I don't think there were too many scenarios where it looked like FPX were even going to challenge them at all.
No, that streak of rounds, if they can replicate it, that's what they're after. Maybe FPX have that response. Like we said, Life uses ultimate. This is a game changer in that round, but you're not going to have that online for quite a while. Now, though, we look at Autumn. I believe he's activated his ult before barriers have gone up.
You want to
Tour de Force, he challenges them to a game and see if they do want to play. Certainly early on, no form of aggression, and the Dizzy just reveals a player's outside the site, and with the ult in play, you do not want to go checking who it is.
Straight away. One of the TPs has had to be used just to get out of the seas. I think they are trying to deny Life farming up those orbs. We've seen the singular buy round they've managed to win come off the back of his ultimate. And again, 3 players ready and waiting. It's allowed by the aggressive position over in Hookah that's being held. And now Boo, well, he's going to be under pressure. Another double ping, and well, Woot's caught.
Always seems to be the place they get curious is exactly where Autumn is. Rienne's able to trade, but the disadvantage remains for the side of Heretics. And although Rienne's finds another, we're in the same boat.
Showstopper.
Mini Boo, showstopper, not going to heaven though. Needs to pull his rifle out pretty soon because there's a peek coming in from Ah Young, getting aggressive, and it was not expected with the Tour de Force landing a shot. It's 12 for FPX. 3 chances to close this out. The same position Heretics were in on the last map.
Yeah. No, we are seeing a lot of similarities, but this time the streak ended a little bit earlier, and FPX now in that driver's seat. And I like a lot of the interplay in this round. Firstly, just aggressive plays, like when the Haunt goes up, swinging off the back of it. You know that somebody's going to try and shoot that to not reveal the position. The patience of Autumn, this was the value of having him on that operator. That was what they were looking for the entire time. When space is made, re-aggression coming in, being caught, and the fact that he gets the last player as well. Ultimates still in a decent spot though for Heretics. They could respond.
Oh, they could, but Boo's down to start this one off. It's not looking pretty. Life even finds another Lysor, trading out some of the disadvantages, but Benji's done well. His 2 picks puts it back to neck and neck. And now an opportunity with the spike dropped right under their nose for FPX. Look, if there was any 2 players you wanted to put in a clutch position, you probably would choose these guys. Autumn and Life have been very impressive, having to dodge the Thrash and just about managing the TP. Although he gets detained, he's at least safe around the corner. They get to reset, and Thrash won't be recovered.
He's been caught by absolutely everything over the last couple of rounds, but he will be able to hold on.
Here.
It's unfortunate because they actually cleared the B site, but just didn't realize that singular kill on Taboo was enough. Ran the spike into A. And of course for Heretics, they're not just sitting pretty. They're going to go walkabouts, going to go looking to see if they can reposition. Now taking the TP would actually find an open site. The timing not working out great for the side of Heretics, and they're going to have to take the long road all the way back around. Now it might not be expected though for them to have pushed this far up so soon. The problem is I think they're a little bit worried about full sprinting just in case someone still lurked in mid.
Well, I mean, conventionally speaking, this is where players will have already started the rotate. I think that's what FPX are playing for, that Team Heretics would be coming through the spawn. Maybe in their minds they've already stepped onto the site. Little do they know it is the long play, but with the positions FPX are manning, they don't really have to worry about that. It's not an angle they're super exposed to, it's just life, but now he's got the info and the shot landed to start this one off. Big swing to get the trade, and Aladdin finds him with his back turned. Beautifully played by FPX, and they've managed to take behind a map that we were counting them out of, and of course we were. This has been a stellar map for Heretics, but not today.
No, it's another scenario where a team has come into their map choice, we put them out as favorites, and it's gone the other way, and that means that we need ourselves a decider. Lotus will be coming up after the break.
Saying oath to my mirror, I won't slow until I'm bigger. Well, till I'm thinner, so my flow will never simmer. Gazing at the stars, cause I'm born to make art, but I never know how far. My mentors, fading judgmental, shady, no mentor. Only role models that I'm making, don't cuddle. I can take it bulletproof, how I make it. My music never dies, stay alive. Stay alive, yeah, they may shoot, but we find. Oh, say goodbye, our records play till we die. Bulletproof. Sometimes I swear I might lose my mind. Brain's all good and fried up. Anxious school going higher. Foaming awake, I'm tired, but still construct an empire. Achieve that glory in the magazine. Write, repeat, this my story. Bulletproof. Bulletproof. On the roof. Yeah, we going up. No, we going up, baby. Bulletproof. Yeah, bulletproof. My universe is calling.